Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari. Sodanandana Rajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachariti. Jamuna Tira Vanachariti. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachariti. Jamuna Tira Vanachariti. Hare Krishna. Swagatam. Welcome to our Sunday evening program here. My name is Vijaya Dasa. I was fortunate to receive a Bhagavad Gita in Key West, Florida. Found it in a library, actually. Nice experience reading the Bhagavad Gita. I was there for 12 years in Miami, Florida. I was in 30 years in Los Angeles, and now I've been here for a year. My service is I distribute Srila Prabhupada's books. Nice service. So we're going to read tonight from the famous Bhagavad Gita, as it is. And the topic tonight is the 4 types of happiness. A lot of people don't know there's varieties, many varieties of happiness. So in the 18th chapter, Krishna, he says, Yad agre janu bandhecha sukham mohanam atmana nidra lasya pramadotam tat tamasam udharatam. So actually this is the he first starts with the happiness and then passion and ignorance. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to start off with ignorance and it'll get better and better. This way. That happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from beginning to end, which arises from sleep, laziness, and delusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. Commentary. One who takes pleasure in laziness and sleep is certainly in the mode of ignorance. And one who has no idea how to act and how not to act is also in the mode of ignorance. For the person in the mode of ignorance, everything is illusion. There is no happiness, either in the beginning or at the end. For the person in the mode of passion, there might be some kind of ephemeral happiness, some temporary happiness in the beginning, and at the end, distress. But for the person in the mode of ignorance, there is only distress, both in the beginning and at the end. Om Jnanatamādandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshramalitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Ukam Krotavāchalam Pungunlang Hayate Grim Yatkripataraham Bande Shikaram Dinataram. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasti Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So the mode of ignorance is a very prominent mode in this age of Kali. People are addicted to so many things that are, as it said here, it's misery from the beginning to the end. It's like people are. It's one of the cultures in America and other parts around the actually all around the world. People are like to drink alcohol. Tastes terrible, right? Tastes terrible, and the result is terrible. They do stupid things and say stupid things, and it's misery from the beginning to the end. Or intoxication, and people take intoxication so much. It's a big problem. Smoking. You know, people, they start smoking and the first cigarette's just terrible. You know, it's coughing, coughing, it's horrible. But then, well, it's a cool thing, you know. I better let me just get used to it. You know, and the next one, coughing. Then they finally get used to it. All right, now it's okay. It's good now. It's all right. And they get addicted to it, and it costs so much money now. What is it? How much is a pack now? Like $10 a pack. It's ridiculous. So, then they got to pay for this addiction. It's a lot of money. Sometimes they smoke 2 packs a day. So misery from the beginning to the end. There's one friend of mine. He has a father, very wealthy father. He passed away. But he said, any son of mine that doesn't drink and chase women is no son of mine. He was a millionaire. Didn't leave a dime for him in the will. So this is ignorance, right? Any son of mine that don't drink and chase women is no son of mine. This is the epitome of ignorance, right? So yeah, there's a lot of ignorance, and the saying is, "'Tis folly to be wise, where ignorance is bliss." They think it's bliss, and if there's some places in this country, if you don't drink, there's something wrong with you. Yeah? If you don't take drugs, if you don't drink, you got a problem. It's just it's ingrained in some parts of this society, and not all around the world. So it's yeah, and because they're in ignorance, there's unhappiness from the beginning. They think ignorance is happiness, but it's actually unhappiness. So this is Maya. This is illusion. And then there's the mode of passion. Happiness and passion is nectar in the beginning and poison in the end. And we see that throughout the world also as relationships. It's very nice in the beginning, but quite often it becomes misery, so much divorce. Two of the wealthiest people in the world recently got divorced. Mr. Gates, what's his name? Bill Gates got divorced recently. And what was the other one? Bezos? Bezos. He got divorced also. Yeah. So wealthy, got everything, but there's some unhappiness there. I've never been divorced, but I've heard it's not a nice experience. Even up to the point, it gets to the point where we can't live together anymore. This is not working. So in the beginning, it's very nice, but in the end, it turns like poison. So this is the nature of the mode of passion. In the mode of passion, people want to get ahead. They want to, whatever it takes, just get everybody out of it. I just got to make it. I was just reading in the BTG, this one, Vishaka Mataji, is one of our prolific writers, and she was talking about a man who was actually very intelligent. He got his law degree at Harvard. He had his own firm, $400,000 a year, but it wasn't enough. And he started all these scams, making more and more and more. He became a multi-millionaire. But it was illegal. Got caught. Now he's in jail for 20 years. Greed, mode of passion. More and more, not enough. I'm a billionaire, but that's not enough. I want to be the wealthiest man in the world. Mode of passion. There's no happiness there. Appears like it. It's like there's so many people that think if I was wealthy, if I was a billionaire, wow, I'd be happy then. But there was, I was speaking to one person a few days ago while I was distributing books, and we were talking about this, and I was saying, money doesn't bring happiness. And he said, there was one interviewer, he was interviewing just billionaires. He interviewed 50 billionaires. And he asked them, so, you're a billionaire. Are you happy? Only 3 of them said they were happy. 47 of them were honest. They admitted, no. I got all this wealth. People are envious of me. I have all this wealth, but I'm not happy. So this is the mode of passion. In the mode of passion, one has strong material desires and attachments. He tries hard for success, but inside, he's unhappy. The happiness isn't there. So to find happiness in the material world, especially in the age of Kali, very difficult. Especially in the mode of passion, there's no peace of mind. No peace of mind, always wanting more and more. Someone in the mode of passion, he's living in the future, always thinking, I gotta get this, gotta get this, gotta get that too, gotta get that, gotta get this. Living in the future. Someone in the mode of goodness, he's living in the present. Like Bhakti Thakur, he says, Forget the past that sleeps, nor the future dream at all, but live in times that are with thee, and progress thee shall call. So to live in the present, this is the mode of goodness. There's another one some of you might have heard. The past is history. The future is a mystery. Today is a gift. And that's why they call it the present. So the present is the most important. Don't live in the future or live in the past. That's the mode of ignorance, to live in the past. Living on those laurels, I remember the good old days. Living in the past. So this is the mode of passion. The mode of happiness. Happiness in the mode of goodness. Happiness in the mode of goodness means that it's bitter in the beginning and it's nectar in the end. Bitter in the beginning, nectar in the end. Just like in our society we follow some rules. And people don't like rules. You get restricted and you can't do the things that I want to do. People don't like restrictions. I was speaking to one person, and he was an atheist. So in a gentle way, I kind of convinced him that there is a God. But then he said, "All right, I'll accept there's a God, but then there's the rules." What about the rules? I don't want to follow all the rules. But rules are good. Just like imagine if there was no rules on the street. On the streets for the cars. No stop signs, no lights. India's kind of like that. There's places, South America also, it's amazing. There's like, some countries there's like no rules and it's pretty chaotic, But so the rules are good. People follow the laws. Imagine if there was no laws, people could steal and murder and it'd be complete chaos. So rules are good. So spiritual rules are good too. They help us to grow spiritually. But in the beginning it's like kind of bitter. But as one advances in spiritual life, then it becomes nice to follow the spiritual rules. Like we don't gamble. Gambling destroys honesty. So we don't gamble. We don't take any intoxication. Intoxication destroys cleanliness. It's like you see people that take a lot of intoxication. They're not clean. We're a vegetarian. If one promotes animal killing or eats animals, this destroys mercy. And illicit sex destroys austerity. So we're not against sex, of course. There has to be there, but licit sex means within household life to raise a child. Otherwise, austerity is destroyed. Austerity is very good. It helps us to grow. Prabhupada, he told our teachers, our Gurukul teachers, that teach the boys the joy of austerity. It's good. Austerity is good. This helps us to grow also. We do things just like in the mode of ignorance here. It says they don't know what to do and what not to do. In the mode of goodness, one knows what to do and what not to do. And therefore they live a peaceful life, pleasing to God. So the Brahmana, he represents the mode of goodness, Samodamas tapasocham shantir arjam evacha jnana vijnanam astakam brahma karma subhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, religiousness. These are the qualities by which the Brahmanas work. And because the Brahmanas, they are God conscious, they're Krishna conscious, and they're so pure and so intelligent, they are the leaders of society. Previously, the king would be he would oversee the management of the kingdom, but he would take guidance from the Brahmana. And there were some kings that were so elevated. They were called Rajarsis, saintly kings. They were saints, but they were kings, like King Yudhisthira and King Parikshit. And there was many kings in the past. And you can imagine how wonderful the society was. The society was being led by saintly kings. You know. Unfortunately, we don't see that anywhere in the world. About, I don't know, a few more than 200 countries, but there's no saintly leaders. And therefore, throughout the world, there's so much chaos. People aren't satisfied with the leadership. So goodness means greater knowledge and a sense of happiness. When one becomes elevated in the mode of goodness, he also becomes very knowledgeable and happy, satisfied. But there's a problem with the mode of goodness, happiness in the mode of goodness, and that is that people become proud of being very good. I'm vegetarian. I am charitable. I'm a very nice person. Mode of goodness. Looks down on others. And this was the main problem with the Brahmanas in India. They became proud. And they looked down on others. And therefore the whole Brahminical system fell through. People lost faith in the Brahmanas because the humility wasn't there. Now, if you have the qualities of goodness, as stated there, peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, wisdom, religiousness, and you're humble, you have humility, oh, that's a great combination, because people appreciate humility with knowledge, with wisdom. So humility is so important. And if one has these qualities of the mode of goodness but doesn't have humility, becomes proud, he's better than others, the false ego gets involved. And the false ego ruins everything. The bodily conception of life. I'm a senior in society, I'm a Brahmana, and everybody respects me. Offers respects to me. I deserve it because I'm a Brahmana. I am in the mode of goodness. Ruins everything. Pride. Pride cometh before the fall. Yeah. So, but the highest happiness, so I've explained to you three. The highest happiness is happiness in the mode of pure goodness. Vishuddha Sattva. So this is where the real happiness is. Yeah. You see, there's two energies. There's the external energy, and there's the internal energy. Now, the external energy has these three that I just explained: happiness in the mode of ignorance, passion, and goodness. But happiness in the internal energy is eternal. You know, the happiness In the others, in happiness and goodness, passion, ignorance, it's temporary. Whatever little happiness might be there, it's temporary. But happiness in the mode of pure goodness, it's eternal. And it's ever increasing. There's no peak to happiness in the mode of pure goodness. In goodness, there's a peak. It comes to a certain level, then it goes down. Right? Mode of passion comes to a peak, goes down. In mode of ignorance, there's nothing. There's no peak. There's nothing. It's just flat. There's no happiness there. But in the mode of pure goodness, unlimited. Anandam buddhivardhanam. Lord Chaitanya, he says it's an ever-increasing ocean of transcendental bliss. And this is what everybody wants, right? An ever-increasing ocean of transcendental bliss. Sounds attractive, doesn't it? Huh? Very attractive. And it's there. We can achieve that just by practice. It's called sadhana bhakti. By practicing Krishna consciousness, we can become pure. And we can engage in loving service to Krishna. And Krishna, he's a reservoir of all pleasure. Pleasure is emanating from Krishna. And when we connect to Krishna by devotional service, then we experience this pleasure, this happiness that we're all searching for. Krishna wants us to be happy. He wants us to be satisfied. Because we're all part of Krishna. What is the nature of the soul? Eternality, knowledge, and bliss. This is the nature of the soul. Srila Prabhupada said that the soul is embarrassed to be in these material bodies. Because the nature of this body, it's temporary, source of so much ignorance and unhappiness. So it's an embarrassing situation to be in, to have these bodies. But we can become purified. We can reach our original. This is actually not our original situation. Just like happiness under the modes of nature, goodness, passion, ignorance, that's relative happiness. But happiness in the mode of pure goodness, pure devotional service, this is absolute happiness. No matter what situation one is in, one experiences happiness. Like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, the spiritual master of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, or the father of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he says, "My greatest happiness is the difficulty I undergo in your service." How is that? Generally, difficulty is not something we like, right? But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says that because by engaging in service to Krishna, even though it may be difficult, it's purifying. So it's good. And whatever Krishna does is good. Because Krishna, God is absolute. Right? So whatever he arranges is good. So whatever he arranges is good. It's all good. So therefore, whatever happens to a devotee, it's good. Yeah? No problem. So this is, of course, this is a high level of devotional service. But we're meant to come to this high level of devotional service. This is the goal of the human form of life. to develop our love for Krishna and experience the happiness, this absolute unlimited happiness that we're all trying to achieve. It's there, in service to Krishna, not to Maya. So, is there any question or comment?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, I have a question. Thank you for the wonderful class.
We're hearing an unembodied voice. Yes, what's your question?
Thank you. When you mentioned about when in a mode of goodness, the ego comes, and then, for example, you gave the example that if we are vegetarian, then we think we look down upon other people. And sometimes I'm talking about myself, if people are eating meat or drinking, and then I in my mind, I think about judging and thinking, so in that case, how do we not judge people in order to then I know it's my ego that I'm thinking, oh, vegetarian is good and this is good and they are not good. They might be good in so many ways, better than me, but that doesn't mean. So how do I, in that case, purify myself and not to judge people in that case?
Okay, thank you. A very good question. People throughout the world, they're raised in not a very nice way, sinful activities. It's like many of us here, we were raised. It's like I was raised eating meat. I didn't know it was wrong. I had no idea. Or even gambling, I didn't know. Intoxication, so many of us, we didn't know that it was even wrong. So Prabhupada said most of the people in the country, they're innocent. They don't know. And many of the leaders, many of the leaders don't know, because this is Kali Yuga, and people just don't know what is the right thing to do, what is the wrong thing to do. People just don't know. So, as Jesus said, hate the sin, not the sinner. So people are under the modes of material nature. So we could see it in that way, that there's a soul there that doesn't know better. So they're doing these activities. And they're being controlled by the modes of material nature. So we don't hate the person. The person there, the soul, is part of Krishna, an eternal servant of Krishna that used to be with Krishna and serve Krishna, but now has become covered by the modes of material nature, by Maya. So we try to see beyond the external and try to see that there's a soul there, and Krishna is there, super soul is there, and we can pray to Krishna that they can somehow understand that these things are wrong, to eat meat, to gamble, take intoxication. We could, out of compassion, we can pray, but not become proud that I'm better than them. Humility is a very important quality. Not that we look down upon people. Believe it or not, the highest level of devotion is where he's an Uttama Adhikari, where he thinks everybody else is serving Krishna but me. Even these meat eaters and drunkards and inconceivable. But this is how a very, very exalted devotee feels. That everyone is serving Krishna but me. Of course, I'm not saying we should try to imitate that. But people are being controlled by the modes of material nature. So we can pray that they can become free. and pray that we can be humble and not look down, not judge people. Yes,
Thank you
Prabhu.
so much.
Thank
Hare
you
Krishna.
for
Prabhu.
the very nice question, Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, well, so the question is we have family members or friends, and we could pray for them, but what can we actually do? Well, it depends. Generally, there's not much we can do because they're living their life, and they don't want anybody to come and step on their toes, try to change their life, to the life that we're living. Many of them, they have their religion also, and they have their beliefs. So, be good examples. That's the best thing we can do, is be good examples ourselves. Be good Krishna conscious examples ourselves, and they'll look up to that. And pray for them. Not much more we can do, because if we come off too fanatic, then it kind of scares them away. We try to preach to them, scares them away. And yes, there you go. Prabhupada said our secret weapon, prasad. Fill them up with prasadam. That will help. Prabhupada said that the devotees, when they first join, they should eat so much the first 6 months that they waddle like a duck. Prasadam. Yes. Yes, we can change the destiny of people by giving Krishna to others. It's explained that this chanting of Hare Krishna, it circumambulates the planet. It's a very powerful, purifying sound vibration. So, yeah, the more we chant, the more we change society. It's a very powerful mantra. And of course, book distribution. We distribute a lot of books. And thousands of people all around the world have changed their lives in a very positive way towards Krishna by this book distribution. So yeah, Prabhupada's desire was to transform this planet into Vaikuntha. Well, actually, Prabhupada, he said, because Kali Yuga it's such a degraded age, he said our movement will always be small. Our movement will always be small. We're not going to stop Kali Yuga. It's going to go on for another 427,000 years. That's not going to change, no matter what we do. Because that's just Krishna wants it. That's just the system. Just like we have the seasons, every year we have the seasons. Now we're in spring. And I don't know the exact date, but spring is going to end, and then summer is going to begin, right? And then winter, or fall is going to be, and then winter. So there's a system. There's a date when, spring ends, summer begins. So there's Also, it's a systematic, there's a time when Kali Yuga stops, and that can't be changed. But people within Kali Yuga, they can change. Just like so many of us, we're here in Kali Yuga, but we're chanting Hare Krishna. We're hearing the glories of Krishna. But we can't change the time of Kali Yuga. It's going to go on another 427,000 years, whether we like it or not. No, it helps. Yeah, no, I mentioned this sound vibration. It circumambulates the planet, it purifies the planet. But we're not going to. Not everybody is going to become devotee. No, this is a very degraded age. Very difficult for someone to become a devotee in Kali Yuga, because people are addicted to all these things I mentioned earlier. All these things in the mode of ignorance. They're addicted. So it's a degraded age. It's a very difficult age to advance in Krishna consciousness. But we should try our best to advance and try to help others. Yeah, and Krishna will be pleased. Go ahead.
No one's ever going to save the day, because this place is temporary, you know. So the goal is actually to get out of here. So the worse it is, it could be mercy, because then you're looking for what's next, because this isn't it, you know. So like,
Yes, for someone who is trying to lead a comfortable life in Krishna consciousness, advancement will be very slow. So, yeah, we shouldn't be depressed. Oh, we can't save everyone in the world. I mean, there's 7 billion people on this planet, more, and they have a lot of material desires. They're very attached to enjoying material life, and to try to sway them away from that, to pull them away, very difficult. People are attached. Even people join our society. They get initiated, take vows, and even then they leave and go back out to try to enjoy. Yeah. So it's very difficult. It's not an easy thing. You know, Maya is very powerful, very strong. Maya is a very powerful energy. And Krishna says, Daivihesu ganamai mama maya dra. You know, this divine energy of mine, consisting of the 3 modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. So this is God saying it's very difficult. So we should know it's not easy. But those who surrender unto me can very easily cross beyond it. So, you know, think about yourself for now. You know, save yourself. Yeah. Then think of others. Yeah. Of course, I mean, even though you may not be pure, like I'm not pure, but I go out and I try to help others. I distribute books. But what's most important is we save ourselves. Yeah. Krishna wants us to be saved. And we shouldn't think that we're so great that we can save others. Prabhupada is. So we distribute books. Prabhupada is so great. He can do that. He's still doing it. Okay? Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki? Jai.